Oh, I finally, I didn't read my instructions to register. So
So
Welcome.
welcome,
that's
welcome
some
North.
last minute help. Yeah.
I'm glad you're here, Steve. So this is the North Chatham Library. I'm Vicki. I'm at the library, and I'm just going to do the technical things and hand it over to Julie. Um, Sheila is going to be sharing her screen. I would ask everybody, it would sound best if everyone else would mute their mics. And I'm going to do that too in just a second. And I'm also going to turn off my screen. It'd be nice if we see Sheila as she's the only person. At the end of it, there may be a time for questions. At that time, you could put your mic back on and put on your video. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Julie Cavett.
Hello and welcome to our program. The first thing I will do is give the credit for the grant funding that makes this program possible. So this project is made possible with funds from the Decentralization Program, a re-grant program of the New York State Council on the Arts, with the support of Governor Andrew M. Cuomo and the New York State Legislature, and administered in Columbia County by the Greene County Council on the Arts, also known as CREATE, Council for Resources to Enrich the Arts, Technology, and Education. And hopefully you could hear that without falling asleep. So our theme for the series of our Arts and Culture series at the library this year is travel. Travel a melody, travel a line, travel a story, travel in time. And today, of course, it's the melody, and more than the melody. Shelia Silver will share her composer's journey, travels in music, about journeys she's taken that have inspired some of her compositions. So a little bit of bio. Born in Seattle in 1946, Shelia began piano studies at the age of 5. Graduating from UC Berkeley, she was awarded the George Ladd Prix de Paris for 2 years of study in Europe. She has a doctorate from Brandeis University and is professor emeritus at SUNY Stony Brook. Sheila's compositions have been commissioned and performed by numerous orchestras, chamber ensembles, and soloists throughout the United States and Europe. Too many honors to list, but I'll mention a recent one. In the spring of 2020, she was resident composer at the American Academy in Rome, where she worked on a new piece called If Trees Could Talk for four female singers, piano, Tibetan singing bowls, and video. She's working now on a new film score for the documentary called Regenerating Life, Hope for a Destructive Species. Shelia lives in Spencertown with her husband, film writer and director, John Feldman. Not surprisingly, Shelia has received acclaim as a composer, and I quote, "Audiences and critics praise her music as powerful and emotionally charged, accessible and masterfully conceived." A reviewer in a German paper commented, "Only a few composers in any generation enliven the art form with their musical language and herald new directions in music. Shelia Silver is such a visionary." It is truly an honor for our North Chatham Library to welcome composer Shelia Silver.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you so much. I am honored and pleased to be here. It's always fun to talk to people in the community, and I think community is very important. It's a big title, this title of travel, and so I had to think about how I was going to present this. You're talking to a composer who is 74 years old, so there's been a lot of experience in my life, and we only have time for a little bit of it. So I thought that I would focus on my opera, the most recent opera, A Thousand Splendid Suns, which the story by the was based on the book by Khaled Hosseini, which many of you may have seen or read. I'm sorry, I'm looking, you guys, you all closed your except for Leo, you all closed your pictures, and I like seeing your pictures because then I know there's somebody out there I'm talking to. Thank you, Rebecca. Turned hers back on, I could see her. So anyway, Khaled Hosseini wrote the novel A Thousand Splendid Suns. I read it. How many of you have read it? Have any of you read that book? No? One of you has. Okay, Paula read it. So it's a really powerful story, kind of a hard-hitting story, and I completely fell in love with it. And when I first read it, I didn't think it was possible to make an opera out of it. I thought it was just too gigantic. But then a couple of years later, I kept thinking about it, and I read it again, and then I had my librettist read it, and we said, we can do this, we can do this. So, you know, when you make an opera, you have to take a story and you have to bring it down to its absolute bare essential, and you're choosing what you're putting in and what you're not putting in, because you can't put everything in. So you're telling the story within the story, but where your eye, you're focusing that story. So we got permission from Khaled Hosseini. That took about a year. We wrote the libretto. That took the synopsis, the scenario. That took about a year. That was the same year, actually. And then I decided that, well, how am I going to write an opera that takes place in Afghanistan if I don't have any idea of what the music in that part of the world sounds like? And because I had always wanted to go to India anyway, I decided, and I did some research, and I say India because I didn't think it was quite possible to go to Afghanistan, and a lot of the culture of music in Afghanistan was destroyed by the Taliban, although it has certainly come back. But the Hindustani music is part of all of that area of Pakistan, Afghanistan, and India. It's all the same traditions. The way we would say Western classical music, Hindustani classical music belongs to all of those parts of the world. So I decided that I could go to India and learn the essence of what this music is. And in fact, I did learn I learned the music, but I learned a little bit how the theory works. And I remember when we set off for India, I said, well, whatever I learned, it's okay. I had no idea how powerfully this music would impact my own music. And that was an amazing discovery for me. So it's interesting. Julie said the title is how you learned from your travels, but this is really how my musical interests forced me to travel, or allowed me to travel, or directed my travel. So if I hadn't been making this opera, I don't think I would have gone to India. So it wasn't just to go. So I couldn't just go there for 2 weeks. I had to go learn something, and it's a long story how that happened. But I had some helpers, and my mentor, who was a Hindustani musicologist, and Deepak, and he directed me to a person called Kedar Bodhas in Pune, which is kind of 2 hours outside of Mumbai. And I'm going to now show you some pictures, and then I'm going to show you some pictures of that family, because it was a great honor to be invited into the inner circle of an Indian family. I mean, not just an Indian family, but of the Indian inner circle of the culture of how they make music in that world. And I am going to share the screen, and the first thing I'm going to do is open up what I want to share so that I can do that. So I want to do this. Yes, and then I want to go into view as what we said, slideshow, right? And then we want to go to share screen. So now I'm going to go to share screen. Where's share screen? Here it is. Oh, I lost my share screen. Where's my screen? Oh, here it is. Here it is, down here. Okay. You'll just have to bear with me because I'm a little bit new at doing so much of this. So here's share screen. All right, now I choose this. Okay, here we go. So, so you can see that, right?
Yes.
So this is my teacher, Kedar Bodhas. And this is his mother, Sunita, and this is me. This was taken just in our most recent trip there. And this is the Bodas family when I first went there in 2013. Once I went there, the first visit was 6 months. And I went to the teacher literally every day. I think we didn't go on Sundays. And, maybe 5 days a week I went. And every morning in his house, he would have a group of students and they would all sit there and he would take us one at a time and he would give us material. We would sing in front of him and I would, I was like a student again. After having been a teacher for some 35 years, I was suddenly found myself as a student and it was wonderful. And I knew after being a teacher all those years how to study. So that was really good. So that's Bodas Sr. He has since passed away, Narayan Bodas. And Kedar is here. And this is their spiritual guru, Sri Baba Thakur. And when you enter the house in the living room, which is a tiny little room, and you always make namaste to the spiritual teacher because he's the teacher of the whole family. And that's just the culture of what you do in India. And this is a picture of me and Senior Bodas. Sometimes we called him Professor Bodas, but mostly we called him Nana, and which comes from Narayan. And I was invited to be a guest of honor and light the candles prior to a performance of a Kathak dance concert. So I didn't know how to do this. They just called me on the stage and I was like, what do I do? And so I went up there and Nana he was such a gentle soul, Nana, and he just showed me what to do and we did it together. It was very sweet. And this is a picture of Kedar and me and the young man who was his student, who was a tabla player. And we were in a tabla shop and they were buying tablas for me because I then took tabla lessons with this young man, Ameya. And you have to understand that Kedar, as a vocalist, he's a vocalist, he sings. But he teaches all kinds of people. There were bansuri players in there were tabla players in there. Because in Indian music, Hindustani music, the highest goal is to sound like a human voice. So the teacher sings and then the people repeat it, and then they don't use notation, so it's all by ear. I, not having that kind of an ear, wrote everything down, so I have notebooks full of what he taught me. But basically the teaching process is you sing it and then you repeat. Teacher sings it, the student plays it or sings it back. And to indicate that that I became friends. I mean, it wasn't just we were teachers; we were friends. And I will even say that Kedar, being younger than me. In India, they have great respect for old people, which I love. And in India, he couldn't quite wrap his head around the fact that he was teaching somebody who was older than him. Therefore, he didn't quite, he yelled a lot at the students, but he didn't yell at me as much because I was older than him. So he decided that I was his second mother. That was his way around that. And here, Ameya recently got married, and there he is. We went to his wedding in January, and then this is these were bansuri players. Somebody had invited Kedar to, and these two were students of his, to go and try out all these bansuris, and then men were with all their flutes, and I kind of went along, and it was just like they took me everywhere. They invited me in completely to their life, and that was really wonderful. So and Steve Gorn is here, and Deepak Raja, who set all this up for me, also knew Steve, and he introduced me to Steve, and it's because of Deepak I met Steve. So, and Steve has become a great collaborator in this whole project, and you'll probably talk to him later. So now I'm going to close this out. So I'm going to stop the share, and I'm going to come back, and we're going to hear some of the opera, and I'm going to tell you a little about the opera. So, A Thousand Splendid Suns is it's a story about two women, a generation apart, each of whom, as a young girl of 15, have been forced into marriage with the same brutal man. And this takes place over a span of time roughly from before the fall of the Shah regime, before the advent of the Russians. So we're talking the late 60s up until the invasion by the Americans in 2000 and 1972 or whenever it was. So so we've got two girls that start out as 15-year-olds, and they're 20 or 30 years apart, and in the and the first girl who didn't want to marry this guy who was forced to, he's a cobbler, he's a shoemaker in Kabul, and she comes from Herat, which is another part of the country, but her mother dies and she's an illegitimate girl, and her father's very rich, and the other wives don't want this bastard child around, and they basically say, get her out of here, we're marrying her off. And she sent off to at 15 to marry this middle-aged man. He's not a young man. He's like a man already in his 50s when she marries him. And this is common in Afghanistan. And so she is forced to go, and she tries to be a good wife to him. And she has several miscarriages, and she can't give him a child. And in that culture, if you can't produce a son, you're worthless. His abuses of her, he's abusive of her, but his focus is really on himself. So and then we have two stories that come together. The other story is the young girl Lila, who is born around the time when Mariam is the older one, and Lila is the younger one. She's born around the time when Mariam begins to really have a lot of pain and suffering with her husband. And so it's like 15 years later, Lila is born. And Mariam has been with her husband for 15 years without producing a child. And he abuses her physically, and he abuses her emotionally. And so then we're gonna hear one of her arias, and we're gonna hear and then the side story, the other story, is the love story of Lila and Tarek. And Lila is a beautiful girl. She's the daughter of a school teacher who's very educated. She's very educated. You know, he wants everything for his daughter. The Russians are in power when she's born, and the Russians, you know, educated women. The Russians didn't subjugate the women the way the Afghan cultures did. But when she's there, the Taliban kick out the Russians, and then there's civil war, and then the Taliban take over. So at a certain point, her parents are killed, and she ends up being wounded as her house is destroyed, and she ends up in the hands of Rashid, the next door neighbor, who is there with his wife Mariam. But we're going to meet her first when she is in love with her beloved Tarek. And she's 15, and this is a scene where they both declare their love to one another. They've been childhood sweethearts, and she's always they're always together, and everybody knows they're always together. But you know, and her mother already is saying to her, you know, it's not nice for you to hang around with that boy. You're getting too old for that sort of thing. It's not appropriate. And she gets mad at her mom, and you know, it's typical mother-daughter kind of thing. And she goes out onto the balcony, and she's looking down the street, and she sings to how much she's in love with this guy. And then he's in the street, and he hears her, and then he comes up, and they banter back and forth. And at the end of their banter, he says to her, you know, I only have eyes for you. And then he declares his love to her. And then they sing the same music again, declaring their love for each other. And then that moment ends. And in this aria, they reference the shoemaker and his sad wife, and they're referring to Rashid and Mariam. The shoemaker and his sad wife, they always call us Laili and Majnun, the Romeo and Juliet of the East. And there is a Persian story about Laili and Majnun, which is the same kind of story as a Romeo and Juliet, that they can't quite get together, but they love each other very much, and you know, and they end up both dying. So they're the star-crossed lovers. So let me read you the text, because what you're going to hear is a workshop. It was sponsored by Opera America, and took place a couple of years ago in New York City, and it was what we call a reading. The orchestra came together for one rehearsal, and then they performed it, and it was at a concert that Opera America was putting on to show different new American opera. I will add that the way an opera is written in this day and age is that you can't just write an opera an opera has all these singers, it's got a full orchestra. You can't just um, uh, uh, you can't just write an opera and put it on the stage. You've got to go through the workshop process, much like you do for plays. And so we went through 3 workshops and an orchestra reading. And each time we tuned and fine-tuned and fine-tuned. And as we did it, the first workshop, I only had half of one scene, Act 1 done. The second workshop was all of Act 1. The third workshop was all of Act 2. The reading that you're going to see occurred in a few days after the workshop of all of Act 1. So we're going to hear some stuff from Act 1. So let me read you the words, because the orchestra reading, you don't have you don't have subtitles. But on the workshop, I'm also going to play you a different aria on the workshop, and that has subtitles, so I don't have to read it to you. But let me just read you. So this is the 2 lovers, and they've been flirting with each other. They have not quite declared their love to one another, but it's kind of obvious. And he says to her, "But Lila, you know I only have eyes for you." And then Tarek goes on to say, "Do you remember the other day when the shoemaker Rashid," and she adds, "and his sad wife, passed us on the street? He called us Laili and Majnun, the star-crossed lovers, the Romeo and Juliet of the East." And then he says, "Remember when we learned their poem at school?" And he recites this poem to her, which is kind of his declaration of love. "I pass by these walls, the walls of Laili, and I kiss them, these walls, the walls of Laili. It is not love of the house that has taken my heart, but of the one who dwells therein." And then the 2 of them, that's an aria solo, and then the 2 of them repeat those words, singing it together, and then they share their first kiss. So I'm going to play that part for you. Now, in order to do that, I need to bring up the link, and then I need to share screen. Okay. And now I've got the link, and I'm going to bring it to the right page. 22, 22. Okay. Okay. No, that's the wrong place. Just a minute. Hold on. I'm sorry about that. All right. I'm sorry. I'm gonna share screen. I'm trying to share screen. Share screen. We're going to this. Okay. All right. Now you see that I'm going to make this full screen, right? Okay. We want to go to 22. Okay. Here you go. That's as close as I can get it. 22:19.
Sheila, we're not getting sound.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Thank you for, wait, I'm going to go away from here just a minute. I'm going to stop share. I forgot to click that button. And when I share, I have to share screen. And then I do have share sound on. My sound is fine? My husband says from downstairs the sound is fine. All right, did you hear the sound, people? Were you hearing the sound? Yes?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Okay. So what we were hearing the sound. All right, we're going to try that again. The camera has her. All right, just try this again. Let's just see what happens.
I'm not getting any sound.
No,
Is
I'm
anybody
not.
else?
Any sound either.
All right.
No,
So what do we do? Some people are getting the sound and some are not.
I'm getting it.
Is it a setting that they need on their computer? Julie, are you getting the sound?
I did it first, but not this time. When you just
Exactly.
clicked,
when you were fiddling with it, I was getting sound, but then when you started to play it, it stopped.
I'm getting sound, but I'm not getting a full screen.
Well, you're getting some screen?
Yes.
Let's,
You have to blow up the image, Sheila, on your screen.
okay, that I can do.
There you go. You got
Now,
it.
now I have my full share, but tell me, I'm gonna hit this thing. Tell me if you hear it.
Yes.
No,
No.
Never know.
I'm
It's
getting-
somebody else.
If you don't have
Oh, geez.
it, turn on their audio.
Okay,
Sheila, there's a button for the share sound, for the share video that says optimize for video.
yeah,
Tick that button too. That often helps.
all right. I'll have to stop share. It might also be something that some people who aren't hearing the sound need to tick something on their computer, like,
I know, I'm looking for something but I don't see anything that either stops sound or starts it, other than my mute.
maybe you have to be, maybe you have to be muted. No,
No.
no. All right. So we're gonna start. I will share screen again, and we did it before, but the sound wasn't as good when we optimized for video.
That's good.
All right. Let me see what happens here. Now, what happened to my? Let me get rid of this for a minute. I have to share screen, right? What do you see?
We see your a Word document.
Okay,
Yeah.
we don't. You're not getting this thing. All right. Now we need to.
Share screen at the bottom.
I have to find the thing to choose. It's not up anymore. I got to go to the link again.
First,
Sheila, when you share screen, you have to click a little box at the far left.
No, I know. Here's the workshop. All right, here it is. Come on up. All right.
Oh, that's the problem.
What?
You're playing it from the internet.
Of course.
You're not playing it from your
Of
desktop.
course.
Oh, well, that's not good.
We
All
did
right,
it
now
the
go
other
now
day.
go back to your thing and push share screen. So
On
go to here. Click on this.
what?
Just anywhere there. There. Click there.
Okay. Now share screen.
Share screen.
And
Desktop one.
no, not desktop. one.
Absolutely.
No,
does.
no, I'm playing it from here.
Okay.
Share, and then I've got both of these things on here.
There you go.
Now go full screen.
Well, first let's see if we can get it. Do you hear it? This is the opening. I don't see. Are you hearing anything?
no.
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 I am hearing it.
Yes, but faintly.
Well, soft. How about this?
Yes.
No.
No, I'm not getting anything.
Yes,
Well,
it's good.
all right. I don't know what to say.
Oh, now I'm hearing.
Okay.
Now I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Just let it play.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do.
We
I'm gonna
are
have to stop for a minute.
canoeing down the river of sin.
Wait, all right, I didn't want to. All right.
Wickedness.
Okay, we have to do it without picture, is what it sounds like.
You could do it another way.
How?
Sheila.
Okay,
Go back to your share screen.
what do you want me to share?
The desktop. Go back to your share screen. Pull this up. This is just ridiculous. Pull this up.
What do you mean pull this up?
I mean, where's your? Go back to your. There.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, pull that up.
We had it all working
Go to
perfectly.
share
We
screen.
had it working perfectly the other day.
Go to this.
Okay. Share.
Okay. Share. Push share.
Okay.
Close this right there. Play this.
I think I just closed out the.
No, you didn't.
Okay. All right.
Play this.
Tell me if you hear anything.
Yes.
No.
No, no sound.
Yes. That's good.
No
None.
sound here.
I hear sound. Sounds great.
What you heard of it?
That was it.
You were hearing it?
Yes.
Yeah, and it was in a big screen. I could see everything.
But I didn't hear anything.
I
Did
didn't
anybody
hear
else? Am I the
anything.
only one?
No, I didn't hear.
I heard it.
I
heard
did.
I heard it, and
I
it was you know, full screen.
Me
I had full
too.
screen, but no sound.
You had full screen, then there must be something that if others, some had sound and some didn't have sound, then it must have something to do with a setting on your computer, no?
But Sheila, why don't you just play us the music? And
Yeah.
we'll
Right.
You know, the source of the music is still there. It's, the source of the music is on the screen, but let me just play you their aria. Let me, and I will, if I remember we did this the other day, I will not share screen. I will stop the share.
Sheila, it's not gonna work. The only way to have done this properly is to have had it on your desktop to begin with. But it's too late for that now.
Well, you know
So
what?
just play just some music or move on to the next thing. Because they don't come offline, do they? They come from something on your desktop, right?
Well, I have videos on my desktop,
But you don't
obviously.
have time to find them.
Let's try something else. Let's try another aria. Let's try a different aria.
No, just move on to the more different music. Something that's on your
Sheila,
desktop.
why don't you play the music?
Well, the music, I mean, without the picture, just close it.
Yes.
But it's
Yeah.
still, it's
Sure.
still, it's. But you, even if I,
Just try that, Sheila.
but without.
Because we were here.
Stop sharing the screen. So stop sharing the screen.
Yes.
Okay, if I stop sharing the screen,
Just play the
will
aria.
sound really lousy, but we can stop. We'll try it. The music won't sound good at all.
Don't worry about it. Just play it. Stop that.
All right, I'm stopping share sound. I'm gonna leave that on. Wait a minute. We had it all working the other day. We tested everything.
I can explain it to you later, Sheila. It's because of the internet.
We had it on the internet the
Yeah,
other
but
day.
you have all these people now. You have 12 people.
Okay, so you want me to play it? I can't play it. So all right, let me play it and see it.
Just play it now. Just
Okay,
play it now.
we've stopped the share. Is that correct? You're seeing me now, right?
Yes.
All right. Let's see what we hear. Okay. Let's see where we are. Are you hearing anything?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
When we were at home at school. I pass by these walls of Lily, and I kiss them, these walls, I kiss these walls of thy it is not the love of the house that has taken my heart, but of the one who dwells
Mute yourself. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Yes. Just let this finish. The other stuff is from the hard drive, right? You don't want to play things from the internet.
Okay. Could you hear it?
Yes.
Was it
Movable.
sound doable? Okay, there's one other thing I'm going to try now. We're going to play one other aria. This is the aria when Mariam is she's been living with Rashid for a while. She's just come home from the marketplace, and she sings a song about how lonely she is. And I found this on an online, I have it here in a version that maybe, it's right here. I'm going to try to play it from a separate file, and we'll see if that works any better. I could share it. The words, if it works, we can see it and get the words. But she's basically,
Just play.
all right, let me play this. So we have to go to share screen. And we're going to go to this
Desktop.
QuickTime Player,
Right.
and tell me if you hear this.
No sound for me.
I am
Nope.
hearing it fine.
Yeah, I don't hear sound. I.
That's a deep core moment. All right.
I hear sound.
Sheila,
I hear sound.
Go figure.
play it, Sheila.
I don't.
Here.
And a full screen.
Julie,
Yeah,
is-
I've got full screen, but no sound, and I don't see anything on my computer that is off.
Okay. Those people who don't have sound, just.
can anybody? Some people can hear it and see it, right?
Now I've got captions, how quietly we endure.
Yeah, but I have no
All-
sound.
Maybe it's the library.
Wait.
Hey, you can hear this, right?
I hear it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting no sound, but okay.
Yeah. Neither am I.
I hear
You're
it
getting
just
the
fine.
caption. Yeah.
I hear it fine.
I can hear it fine too.
Leo, you hear it?
If you go to view
don't hear it.
options, there's a mute Sheila Silverman's computer sound, and maybe you have that on. People that can't,
Where is that?
Nope, mine
it's
is
on the
not a
top
problem.
under view options. And you
View?
scroll down view options, and one of the last ones says mute Sheila Silver's computer sound.
Nope.
If I do that, you won't hear anything, I think.
No, but I have it off, and I'm just wondering if anyone has that checked, and that's why they're not hearing it.
But they
No.
wouldn't hear Sheila either if that
No.
was the case.
No, I don't have that.
I don't know. All right, so folks, I guess I have other things that are just audio that we can play. It sounds like the video is not very successful on this talk. I'm very sorry that this happened. We did when we checked it before, everything was perfect. And I don't know why it's not working now, and why some of you are hearing it fine and some of you are not hearing it fine.
Right.
That makes no sense. For those of you who can hear it, there's let me just explain what this aria was. You know, how quietly we endure all that falls upon us. Basically, she's, you know, like snowdrops that fall. So for those of you that can hear, let me finish it out. There's like one more minute, and then we'll go to some things that don't have video on them. Everything else doesn't have video on it.
Sounds great.
Again, I'm not getting any sound. Am I the only one?
I'm not getting any sound.
No, I'm not either.
Me either.
Steve, you're getting sound, right?
Yes,
I'm getting sound.
the mystery.
All right.
Could we go back to just the sound? Because I was hearing that.
I can stop share and I can play.
You only have 15 minutes left. Why don't
Yeah,
you move on?
we should move on. Let's move on to something else. I don't know why this didn't work, but I will say something about the sound. I'm really sorry that this is not working. It's I don't know why some of you are hearing it just fine and some are not. But one of the ways in which raga influence, ragas are melodies, and they have hundreds of ragas. And basically, one of my approaches to composing was to take the ragas that I was learning and studying with my teacher and kind of using them as melodic patterns. And in just like in Western music and raga, you can move certain ways up or down, but you can't do other things. I basically followed somewhat the rules of how that raga would work, and then it would be, I would use it at first strictly, and then I would use it loosely within like an aria that I was writing. And that using of melodic patterns, even in my own music post opera, has kind of influenced my music. But let's try something else. Let's try audio only, because I think this is getting us all a little bit frustrated. So I'm gonna try something else. When I'm gonna switch over and I'm gonna go to that's also got a video on it. I'm going to talk about the songs, okay, because the songs don't have video on them. As a composer, I have written over the years many songs, and last a couple of weeks ago, in February, March, we completed and had released a CD, a two CD album, which is called Beauty Intolerable Songs of Shelia Silver, and it includes all the songs that I wrote from 1978 to the present. And that album has singers on it like Stephanie Blythe and Dawn Upshaw, and also Lucy Fitzgibbon, the young woman that some of you heard sing in our opera. I met her through that. And lots of the songs were based on poems by Edna St. Vincent Millay. In fact, the title Beauty Intolerable comes from a poem that Max Dillon wrote about, Charles Dillon, wrote about Edna St. Vincent Millay, how her beauty was just intolerable. So the title Beauty Intolerable comes from that. And so I wanted to play you a few songs from the CD, and I wanted to show you some pictures. So let me first, let me close this up for a minute. No, not that. Let's go to, just a minute. Let's go back to this one. Okay, I'm gonna share screen. This is just visual for a second. So I'm gonna share screen on this. And how do I do that? I'm gonna go share screen, and I'm gonna choose this. Okay, I'm gonna share that. All right, so you all see that, right? And Anyway, this is a picture of Edna St. Vincent Millay, and this is the songbook. And these were some pictures of Edna Millay when she was more mature and older. And we recorded lots of different songs. And the three that I chose, the first one I'm going to play for you was performed by a woman by the name of Risa Renee Harmon, who's a singer that I worked with. And the text is very playful. It's Thursday, here it is. If I loved you Wednesday, well, what is that to you? I do not love you Thursday, so much is true. And why you come complaining is more than I can see. I loved you Wednesday, yes, but what is that to me? And so I wanted to play that song for you, and that is only audio, so it would be on my desktop, so let's hope that it works. So I need to go to this folder. Let's close that. Here it is, and okay. Now I'm going to share this. So you won't be able to see anything, but hopefully you could hear. And I'm going to share screen. I'm going to choose this. I don't have. I'm going to share sound, and I'm going to share. And let's hope that this works. Are you hearing it? Yes.
I'm not hearing anything.
So I know that didn't work. Actually, I see that was not shared. Wait a minute. I'm going to do this again. I'm getting very. I lost it here. You are sharing screen. I'm going to stop share. I'm going to do it again. This really will work. I didn't pick the right thing. Share screen. This is what I want to do. Now, share. Now it's going to work.
Yes.
Yes, now it's going to work. Okay. So, and if I loved you Wednesday, well, what is that to you? I do not love you Thursday, so much is true. And why you come complaining is more than I can see. I loved you Wednesday, yes, but what is that to me? This is one of her very famous poems. Yes? Are you hearing it? Are you hearing it?
Nope,
No,
Yes. I'm hearing.
No.
Yes.
no.
Nope.
and in theory, I have my sound at maximum.
Well,
But I'm not hearing anything.
all right. So
I'm not either.
you're not hearing it either.
I'm hearing it.
I'm hearing it.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, I'll take full responsibility for having no audio, but I don't have any audio.
I don't either.
I don't either.
see, this time you don't have it. Enid, what about you? Do you have audio?
I'm hearing it. It makes no sense. Why take a picture.
So we have audio intermittently and only for some people.
Yes, that's true.
So maybe the folks who can hear continue. I
mean,
assume I screwed up here, but I don't know how to
look,
unscrew up.
here's what I suggest, that this is kind of did not work for us, but why don't I just talk a little bit and forget listening, and that's the best we can do, because
Okay.
I don't know what else to say. So I mean, you can hear this particular album is available on it's put out by Albany Records, and let me stop the share and to retake the share. Okay, share screen. I'm going to share screen. I'm going to take this back, pictures back. Okay. We had a lot of fun making it. You can see these are pictures of all the singers. Let's go back to this one. So, this is Risa, who you just saw. This is Lucy, who is a wonderful soprano who was in the opera. This is her husband, who's a spectacular pianist, Ryan McCullough. And so, Diane Meek, who was also in the opera, Chris Cooley, who played the piano in the opera. I mean, so all of these people are people that I've been working with a long time. There includes some songs, transcending 3 songs for Michael Dash Memoriam by a wonderful baritone, Sydney Outlaw, which you could he's fantastic, and there's some pictures of them in these. And this piece was in memory of Michael Dash, who was an amazing baritone and countertenor, who who was the boy soprano in Ancient Voices of Children, and this is Don Upshaw and Gil Kalish singing on this disc. Something that Julie heard perfectly well the other day. So I don't know why we can't hear it today. And these songs were written in memory of Gil's wife, Diane. And I think all of you, well, many of you, Gil Kalish has played up here many times in the area, so many of you know who he is. The other thing I was going to play for you today, or tell you a little bit about, I can tell you a little bit about it anyway, is my what I'm doing now. So when I came home from Rome last year, it was COVID time, and what do you do when you're all alone and it's COVID time? So you can't go anywhere, you can't do anything. So I decided that I would write a series of piano preludes. The last time I had written piano preludes was in 1990, when I had written some preludes at the American Academy in Rome. I will just quickly share the screen here for a second and go back to, no, I can't do that, forget that. I wanted to show one picture that I had, just a minute. Here, I'm gonna go back to this for a minute. Okay, I can do these two pictures. So I can say, so I'm gonna share the screen. Just a minute, share screen. This, okay, share, okay. So you see this, yes?
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
so this is a beautiful picture that John took. John takes all the beautiful pictures in my life. And this, I'm echoing now. This is the Calanques in southern France, and Cassis, where I was a resident at the Camargo Foundation, and I wrote piano preludes that were inspired by the natural beauty and also by poems of Baudelaire. At the time, I had at one point in my life spoken and read French quite well, and Baudelaire was my favorite French poet, and I could read them in French actually. And so I wrote these preludes, and I hadn't written anything for solo piano since then. And so, and that's a long time ago. So I said to myself, well, here I am alone, and I'd like to be able to practice and play what I actually write. So I had gotten home from here. This is the American Academy in Rome. This was the view from my garden. That's to make everybody jealous. That was just the most spectacular place. And unfortunately, because of COVID, we only got to be there for like 2.5 weeks. But we were supposed to be there for 2 months. So when I got home, I started writing piano preludes. And I will not attempt to play a video of one because I don't think it'll work. But I decided to write a series of preludes. When I made the preludes in Cassis and on Baudelaire, I found, and it was that if I used an image that was meaningful to me, it was easier to shape a story. Maybe that makes me a programmatic composer, but I think that music should have a dramatic narrative. And so I often pick an image. So when I started to write these piano preludes, everybody's talking about climate change, and we're living in this, we live in such a climate that is so destructive to the earth and destructive to nature, so so I decided to gather a group of pianists that are friends, that are colleagues that I've written music for, and the first piece went for Gil Kalish because he's my most favorite pianist, and we worked on so many pieces together. And so I said, Gil, I'm going to write some piano preludes, and this one's dedicated to you. And then the second one I dedicated to Ryan McCullough because I'd just been working with him on the songs on that album. So the first one, I just want to tell you, give you kind of an idea. So the imagery on it is, the piece is called Water. And, you know, the water is flowing, the water is nice, but then, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. But eventually it comes to this place, this huge climax. Imagine the water running from Columbia County, you know, we all, you know, down these little streams and out and out and out and down to the river and then out to the great big ocean. And it's very magnificent. And then the image came to mind that there's like, you look across this beautiful sand beach with gorgeous waves and you see a big glunk of oil, or you see the birds that are dead because they got caught in the oil, or you see something really, really painfully awful that man is responsible for in nature. And so it had this darkness, but it ends with, you know, but then but water will continue to run. And so we start with the trickle and it keeps going again. And so those are the kind of images, like I wrote one for Leo Treitler, who's here, for his Festschrift. And that one was all happy. That was like in Mary's garden, because we all know what it's like to sit in a beautiful springtime garden that's, you know, a Columbia County, or he lives in Woodstock, so a Woodstock garden that would be filled with beautiful things. And
I think I found a way to solve the problem.
My husband thinks he's found a way to solve the problem. I don't know. I don't know if I trust it. And
Go to share screen and go to advanced tab.
Advanced what?
Tab.
You come here and do it. All right, we're going to try to see if we can play one of these piano preludes, okay? We're going to, I mean, that I'm playing it. We're going to try this. All right.
Stop
share. Hold on.
Wait a minute. Stop
share. Okay.
Now go to share screen.
Share screen again. But I have to put the thing up though.
No, don't do anything. Just
okay. Share screen.
Now, advanced. And click music or computer sound only. Now share. Now play some music.
Well, just play some music?
Yeah, just go find the music somewhere. Go to your desktop.
Well, I have to.
Minimize this then.
Or
just play this.
Well, let's play this thing if we can. This is video, but it doesn't matter.
It's a video.
But it's okay. We can just play this. They're not going to
play the video. Play the video. See if it works.
Okay, see if it works. Okay, I don't know if you can see this. You don't need to see it. I haven't shared screen yet.
Yes, you have.
No, it's not shared. Wait a minute. Let's get rid of this. Just a minute. Let's share the screen.
I thought you were sharing the screen.
No, not yet.
We'll just play it and see if they hear it at least.
They won't. Oh, can it let me at least share the screen?
I think. Are you guys seeing this?
No.
Okay, here. Wait. All right. Just a minute. Now we're going to share the screen. We hit the dial. We hit that.
Hit share.
Share sound.
Share.
Oh, share.
Okay.
Let's see what happens here. You hear anything?
Yep, I hear the music.
I don't.
I don't.
Can you see it? Can you see anything?
No.
I don't have picture or sound.
Yeah, me neither.
All right. So
Nor do I.
We could see you.
No
And
sound.
Sheila, congratulations, you have not torn out every hair in your head.
That's right.
all right. So listen, we can't do music today. I don't know why, but so I wrote these preludes, and I've written one on water. One is called In Mary's Garden. One is called Sun, Moon, Stars, and it was kind of an image of, actually it's not sun, moon, stars. It's stars, sun, moon, and it was a sunrise in India, and you know, it starts out with stars and it's nighttime and it's very beautiful and easygoing, and then suddenly the sunrise in India in a polluted city, and it comes up brilliant and hard through the mist, not mist, through the
haze.
Through the haze. The haze is like a haze. Pollutant haze. So it was like the image of a sunrise through a pollutant haze, basically. Harsh sunrise. Beautiful but harsh. And then it goes back down and it's moon, and then it's very nighttime again. So one of them is called Big Ag Small Farmer. So it's about machines, like the big ag machines that are ripping up the earth and spewing chemicals everywhere, and about the small farmer who is, our regenerative farmers that are working very hard to do things. So, and the last one that I'm writing, actually, you probably, many of you know her, Simone Ditterstein. She plays up here a lot. So one of the pieces for her, and it's called Winter into Spring, and it really is capturing kind of nature. There's nothing dark in this one. It's just nature kind of going from winter into spring, and I actually maybe have made some new ground as a composer on that piece. It was hard coming, but I just finished it, and it feels like new territory somewhat. So you can go to my website at sheilasilver.com. You can hear all the music that I tried to play for you today is online. The opera is all there. The good news about the opera, I can say this, and Steve, are you still here with us? Steve, this is good news about the opera.
Yes, I'm here.
Steve has been on this journey of opera for, I don't know, for years now. Since 2015 we met. And he's played in all the workshops, and Bonsuri, of course, and Seattle Opera commissioned the piece, and we recently got, with COVID, nobody knows what's going to happen, but they are planning to go ahead with the piece. They only postponed it now just a couple months from October 22 to January 23, and they have found a Afghan woman film director who's going to direct it. And it was very important to them, with everybody, to me it wasn't so important, but to them it was like, had to be very politically correct. And so it had to be a woman director, because this is about women. And they found this woman, and she's a film director, and she's extremely authentic. By that I mean, I shouldn't tell you her name yet because it hasn't been publicly announced, but she's so authentic that she's not Western at all. And apparently you can take people they'll guide her as to what happens in opera, but I did see one of her films, and it was very powerful and close to the subject of A Thousand Splendid Suns. So I am very encouraged that this is really going to happen, and they're starting to cast, and they're starting to make it really happen. So you can all come to Seattle in January of 23 and see it. And so I can answer questions, but I'm really sorry that the music didn't work. It worked fine last week when we had our tech meeting. I don't know what's going with it. It's my computer, and some of you are hearing and some of you are not. I just don't know why. So does anybody have any questions?
Well, Sheila, I want to say thank you. Thank you. And I think Dottie is right. It's rather remarkable that you have not pulled all your hair out. But I've appreciated hearing about the music and intend to go to your website. So people listening, do you have questions for Sheila?
I'll just say I'm terribly frustrated that I didn't hear it, but I heard enough and it was so lovely that I will certainly go to the website and listen and buy the CDs. So thank you.
You're welcome. I'm sorry. I don't know why, because it was great today.
Don't be sorry. It always happens that when you rehearse it, it works fine, and then it doesn't when you really.
Exactly.
But I have a question. Are you planning to write another opera?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I always wanted, yes, I am planning to write another opera is the answer. What I'm looking for, the story, I don't have the story. It's really hard. You have to be madly in love with it, because you have to spend so much time with it. So, and I want to do something slightly political. I don't know. I have Stephanie Blythe is waiting for me to come up with an idea for her. She wants to sing now as a contralto opera singer. I don't know what it is. So I'm reading, I'm thinking, I don't know what it is. But I do believe that when Thousand Splendid Suns is performed, I better have a couple of ideas in my back pocket, because that will be the time to get the next one going.
You'll find it, or it will find you.
Yes, I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting.
I want to thank you, Sheila. I could hear it and see it, and it was beautiful. And as someone who knows really next to nothing about opera, I really liked it. I liked that there were captions, and I said, "My goodness, she's singing in English." So it was just a kind of a wake up, or kind of a real learning for me. Plus the whole piece about how you write a piece and the workshops, and that you spend all this time doing like one scene or one act. And then, I saw one was done in Florida and one was done in Hudson. So I feel like I learned a lot. So
Right.
thank you.
You're welcome. 2012 was when I got in summer of 2012, I got the rights from Khaled Hosseini. That took a year. I had to write him 3 letters to get the rights from that. And then he finally said yes. Summer of 2000, June of 2013, we went to India for the first time. Took the whole family, my son included, and threw him in an Indian school. It was quite an experience. Then I got home. January of 2014, I started composing. June of 2015 was the first workshop.
Oh my goodness.
Then December of 2016 was the second workshop. And January of 2016, actually, maybe they were all beginning of January. I'm not sure, but they were right real close. Was the orchestra thing that you heard. And then November of 2017 was the final workshop. And then were 2 years of orchestrating.
Oh.
And I delivered everything to the Seattle Opera on December 1st, 2019, because at the time they told me they were going to do it in 2021, but it would have been canceled because of COVID anyway. But they had, and Seattle Opera had a change of director, like the general director changed. A guy by the name of Aiden Legg to this woman, Christina Scheppelman. And in that change, she had to start all over again, and he hadn't done anything. So they were like back to base one, and they just couldn't put it really fast. And it wouldn't have happened anyway because of COVID. So I think it's all kind of working out for the best.
Thank you.
Sheila, what you didn't really mention to people is that you went to India and learned, I would say, an amazing amount of Indian classical music and incorporated that in the melodic material in the opera. And that makes it quite unique.
Yeah, it does. I mean, maybe a different lecture, I would have been able to go into that more. But Steve and I would have our conversations. I'd say, "This is so-and-so raga." And he'd say, "Well, no, it has to go like this if it's that raga." But he also knew a lot. People who are in the know will recognize the ragas in the music. It isn't important that you know the ragas in order to hear the music, but if I synthesized a lot of it, and now I find when I'm composing, ragas just come out. Ragas that I know will come out, and they just like it's there, and I'll say, "That's so and so raga," and I know I just wrote that, and well, I'll leave it in there because it's just part of it's just a different way of shaping melodic material. Completely different way of shaping melodic.
Could I ask a question? It's just my ignorance. You keep referring to a term, raga or something. I don't know what that is.
Okay, I'm sorry. Raga is Hindustani music, as I said, which is the music of Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, northern India, is organized around what we would call scales. They call it ragas. But in our scales, we just go do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, right up the scale, right? And everything is kind of free game there. Not completely, but ragas have notes like a scale, but they have orders too. And so they don't just go up and down. You can't just sing it straight up and straight down or have patterns any way, which way. They are melodic. They are composed of recognizable melodic fragments that belong to that scale. So it's both order as well as what the content of the notes of the scale is.
So Sheila, not to put you or Steve on the hot seat, but could either one of you sing a raga so that Paula could hear, because it is very different?
Yeah, sure. Let's see. Uh, which one? Steve, you want to sing? Let's put
Boy,
this. You have your Monstery there. Play something.
no, we're just into a very long description of trying to make sense of this. The essence of raga is that, unlike Western music, which is based on harmony, we're listening to a drone ostinato. We're listening to a constant pitch. And for example, this note. And then the notes of the raga are like radial spokes that come out of that note. So you listen for the tension between this and something that needs to resolve to it. Na, no. And you expand out of that using the particular notes that are in the piece. Back to that fundamental tone. So that's kind of the way that it works. And what's interesting, what Sheila did is that she took those melodic patterns, but she orchestrated them, which actually threw people like myself who really want to hear it as a raga into a state of confusion, because the fundamental note would change sometimes. And then is it still the raga or is it not? And we had a lot of fun figuring that out.
Thank you. That's actually was quite clear to me.
Steve, you saved the day. Everybody heard the sound. Everybody heard the drone.
Yeah, you could hear the drone.
I have another question, Sheila. How did you work with the librettist on the album?
Well, the librettist that I work with, Stephen Katsakos, I have written, this was our third project together. And I'm a very hands-on composer. So we first off, to make the story, we met in Red Hook because he lived at the time in Woodstock, Saugerties, and we would meet once a month at what's that coffee house in Red Hook where you can sit in those old chairs, that hippie place?
Oh no.
Taste buds. Taste buds. Taste buds, where you could sit in these old chairs for 4 hours at a pop, and nobody cares, and you just can eat pastries and drink coffee and eat. And we sort of said, okay, how does the opera open? What's in Act 1, Scene 1? What's in Act 1, Scene 2? What's in Act 1, Scene 3? You know, how many acts are there? We originally had 3 acts, but somebody said, no, you can only get 1 intermission, and and it has to, whatever. So. Then he would write when we finally had that down, he started writing words, and then I would pick away at them. But the truth is, when I'm composing, I changed his words often, or cut them out, or added them on. And in opera, you repeat sometimes, and sometimes you don't repeat. You have to have very, very few words. That's the way, very few words to say a lot. And it's not like a play. You know that. It's not like a play where you can talk, where you can get a lot of ideas out. It's not opera's not idea heavy. It's you're going for the emotion and the situation.
Thank you.
I mean, you've done opera, so I think you know what I'm.
I haven't done opera, musical theater.
Anybody else?
I guess not, but Sheila, again, thank you. And we will all, I'm sure, go to your website and visit. And I encourage others to check out Steve Gorn's website too. Steve has, studied classical Indian music for as long as one can remember, and is considered a master even in India of the music. So Sheila, this has been wonderful. I'm so sorry that the tech didn't work. It worked fine in the tech rehearsal a few days ago, but who knows the ins and outs of the technology.
I'm sorry too. It's just what it is.
You did the best you could. So it's still an honor to have you, very much so. And thank you everyone for attending.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Um,
That was so bewildering that
Oh, it was.
I was hearing sound perfectly with the video,
I heard nothing.
and I can't understand that. How two different computers would either respond.
I heard nothing.
You heard nothing, Leo.
Yeah, nothing.
My God.
So,
Well, I
strange.
heard Sheila talking all the time, yes.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense though whatsoever.
Steve, what kind of computer do you have?
A Mac computer, and and I've done this share screen and I've played videos on it, and there's never been a problem with it.
It wasn't downloaded to her computer. I don't know if that, I started a problem. I don't know. I did, as I was searching there for the last hour to try to figure out, there was one, it said, oh dear, I'm gonna stop the recording. That there was a